Hello everyone, it's Susie from Esoteric Trading Solutions. I hope you're all well. I hope you're looking after yourself. You're being kind to your family, you're being kind to your friends, you're being kind to your putty cats, your beautiful animals, your beautiful dogs, any sort of animal you've got, and you're being kind generally to people in the world just to make this place a better world. It certainly needs a lot more kindness, that's for sure. Today something came across my desk and I get inspired to do a YouTube or something else, a video, when something interests me, and it was a report by Cryptocompare research on exchanges, and I think a lot of people have been looking at exchanges and volumes and whether there's security and whether there's a chance of malicious attacks or whatnot. And there are a lot of exchanges out there. As I said in the past, there's about 9,000 exchanges globally, and if you look at coin market cap, there's probably about 300 exchanges. But what this report does, and I thought it was a good one, and I've certainly sent it to my clients, is it goes through a bunch of metrics to, ranking the top 20 exchanges that it feels are the most appropriate exchanges that show proper volume, reflect, the true market, have good security, certainly have a good background in terms of the CFOs or the CIOs, certainly have good API settings and that sort of thing. So pretty much their mission is to look at trading volumes to make sure they're legitimate, they're not false. They look at liquidity metrics. They look at obviously who's behind the exchanges, what sort of cryptocurrency pairs they have, whether they believe something is fake volume analysis or not. And they do pretty much due diligence on the particular exchanges. So obviously, if you've got any sort of coins or tokens on an exchange, you certainly want to make sure those coins or tokens are reasonably secure. And also, you'd like to make sure the exchange has insurance, or for example, it's actually regulated with, say, the Securities Exchange Commission, like Coinbase or Gemini. It has insurance. And also, if something does happen and there's a malicious attack where coins are lost, the end investor will get compensated. And you'd like to think that exchange, has a lot of capital in its kitty so that you will be compensated as well. So say, for example, Binance, which is earning $1 billion a year, I should say, in revenue, has 9 to 10 million clients, does legit trading volume per se. Just like Coinbase, you can have reasonable security, reasonable belief in security that you will be compensated if something does happen in case of a malicious attack, vis-a-vis the very small exchanges where you can't really believe the volume is legitimate, that they have a deep kitty, and that you'll be looked after in terms of the security of your own coins or tokens on that exchange. So they do talk about why volume is misleading, and they do their own studies to confirm why those volumes they believe are misleading, and they get those metrics from other sources rather than what's provided by the exchange, and that's really important. So the questions they ask is, can I trust the data reported by these exchanges? Now, don't forget, when the exchanges report, these cryptocurrency exchanges, there's no regulation at all at the moment to whether that data that's being reported is actually legitimate. Now, unlike other fiat markets, whether it be the the equity exchanges, or for example, bond participants, or the issuers of bonds, or whatever it might be, these figures are actually audited. They have to be audited and looked at from the Security Exchange Commission as being correct. They can be audited from the Security Exchange, or they can be audited by proper chartered accountants like KPMG and the like in terms of financial statements and reports. So it's really, really important to understand that the figures you're seeing are actually correct. You don't want to be on an exchange where the figures are actually false, because on those exchanges there can be potential for market manipulation. Are your funds secure? Are they insured, for example? And does the exchange have a good API? Now, if you look at this chart, for example, it's got October volume, and obviously the volume is on the right-hand side. Anything on the right-hand side means they're doing quite a lot of volume on this curve, which means if they're doing volume and they're doing legitimate trading, they're actually making exchange fees. So it goes to the bottom line. Is an exchange profitable? Because if they're not trading and the volume's not correct, and it's actually incorrect, then they're not making any trading fees. And that's the bottom line with exchanges. They have to make trading fees and trading revenue to actually make money. And they have to have clients. If they have no clients and they're not doing volume and they're not trading anything and they've barely got any cryptocurrency pairs, hardly any, say 3 or 4, then how are they actually making any money? To pay their settlements people, to pay their operations people, to pay their exchange people, as well as to pay even clients, or to make revenue. For an ongoing business, that will not be ongoing if they're not making any revenue. And that's the bottom line. These exchanges need to make revenue to survive. Without revenue, as a business, you're dead in the water, okay? So basically, Cryptocompare looked at a number of different exchanges on a number of different criteria. And they did say that volume and liquidity can be easily manipulated, and any untrusted exchange data can be provided. Untrusted exchange data can be provided by the exchange because, again, as I said, it's not audited and the exchanges are not regulated. Now, take out of that, when I say that though, Coinbase and Gemini, who are regulated because they are regulated by the Security Exchange Commission. And also they have to provide, because they're US based, they have to provide IRS statements, tax statements and the like, okay? So, but most of the exchanges are not regulated by anyone and they can literally tell you anything. And that's a fact. They go on to say that there's many ways an exchange can incentivize trading activity, including trading competitions, airdrops, and transfer mining. And they also look at a host of different factors to evaluate. So they say that in their benchmark, they include 8 categories comprising of 64 metrics within their study. And this study will it's about a 120-page study, this particular PDF, 120 pages, and they have a lot of things in the appendices. So please look at this in its entirety. I think it's a very good report and I like it very much. So they say who is this for? And who is this for? Obviously, it's exchanges looking to conduct more thorough competitor analysis and understand the industry and the trends that they're in and their counterparty risk and their competitor risk. The funds who are very interested in counterparty risk, and also, the custody of their counterparty risk. This report is good for investors and traders who need to identify the best exchanges out there and whether they're taking on a risk by having some of their coins on those exchanges, risk of having their coins not in a cold wallet or not on Ledger NanoS, but actually having their coins or tokens on the exchange. They also say this report's important for exchange service providers, whether it be insurers, custodians, and compliance services, who want to gain a better understanding of the industry and identify potential customers. Also, they say it's important for regulators who are looking to develop potential policy and to understand better what the exchanges do and the digital asset landscape. So I think that's really, really important. I do like this report. It does give an insight, and basically this report's trying to outline where they believe there's fake volume or where there's not, okay? Now, I have done a previous cryptocurrency exchange video, and I think this one's quite a good report as well, adjacent to that previous video I did a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so they go through, they look at a number of different exchanges and they come up with the 100 that they believe to be reasonably good, and they categorize that A, B, and C, okay? And they have all the different criteria for the landscape. And they do believe there's a lot of manipulation with the lower exchanges in terms of their volume. The volume's not done. Again, liquidity is not there, and they just don't have the client base. Okay, and that's something you need to be aware of. Even if you get into something on a cryptocurrency exchange and they don't have the client base, you can't get executed straight away. You've got to wait. They can only exercise you partly in terms of your execution, and it's going to cost you more money, and you may not be able to get out of something. Okay, they also look at the margins on exchanges, and they say they're growing. And also they're looking at the institutional side of things, and they say that's growing as well. So the key methodology They go through that. They say that obviously exchanges are subjected to cyber attacks and security checks. And we have seen that with some of the smaller exchanges, okay? And you know the ones I mean, one got hacked, over $5 million, another one got hacked, this and that. Now, the reality is they have good security. They shouldn't really be hacked, okay? That's the point. And if they get hacked, they can get access to private keys. They can get access to the exchange's cold wallet. They can get access to their hot wallet, and they can, and basically a hacker can move out coins and tokens and then sell them somewhere else. So the question is, how good is the exchange's platform and how good is the security of that platform? They look at management positions. Who are the managers? Is there a chief compliance officer? Again, does the exchange have a chief information security officer? Now, we know that some of the bigger exchanges do. Gemini employed someone from the Security Exchange Commission as a compliance officer. We know that Bernard's employed someone from Ripple. Again, the bigger exchanges do employ security officers, compliance officers. Again, where is the exchange located? If you've lost money or coins, or they're not doing what you want them to do, are you trying to get money or coins off the exchange and they're in a location like China or Taiwan or Taipei or wherever, Zimbabwe or a place in Africa? You can bet your bottom line you're going to have a very tough time if you have to go through legalities of, say, non-US or non-Australian law or non-British law for that argument as such. Are the exchanges insured? Are they self-insured in terms of fiat or crypto, for example? Again, do they have FDIC insurance? Do they provide custody for the professionals? Now, we find with Gemini they provide custody for the professionals. Coinbase, again, provide custody for the professional traders and the big wholesale traders, which gives you solace as an individual small crypto trader like myself that, these are bona fide exchanges because they are also regulated by the Security Exchange Commission, okay? They're also based in the US. They have insurance, they have a license, and also they do regulatory reporting. So you know that what they're going to disclose is going to be pretty much correct, okay? Otherwise, they lose their license, they can get fined and all sorts of things. And also they have insurance for clients' deposits as such. Now, what is the percentage of that insurance? If they have a big fund, how much insurance and where, and who does that insurance sit with? Does it sit with a bona fide insurance company like Lloyd's, or does it sit with, Frank Smith down at the fish and chip shop that could go broke tomorrow, okay? Also, they look at other things like AML. Does the exchange have proper AML, anti-money laundering regulation? Now, what sort of clients do they take on the exchange, for example? Who are they? They look at a number of different books, say for data provisioning. Does the exchange show order book level 1, level 2, level 3? Can you look at exactly who's on the order book from the buy and sell side? Has there been negative reports on these exchanges previously? Have there been breaches of data privacy? Has there been illegal washing of trades? Again, exchanges can increase their volume by illegally washing trades and falsifying that volume, which is not real. Okay, and what is the implications for the market overall when we have a lot of exchanges out there falsifying their volume and trying to give the impression to the end investor that they're a secure, big exchange when they're actually not, okay? When all they're doing is spending a lot of their marketing budget, giving you freebies, giving you free things, giving you the impression that they're really strong and secure when they're not, okay? And they could be subject to a malicious attack at any time, and they could lose their coins, and there's no security for you if your coins are lost once they run out of money. Because again, as I said, the bottom line is exchanges need to be producing revenue. They need clients, and if they don't have either of those, and a lot of clients, they're just not going to make it in the next 1 or 2 or 3 years, okay? So if you look at this, and I'm not going to go through it all because it could end up to be a very long video, but they rank the exchanges, as I said, and they have a grading system, AA, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, and obviously AA is extremely good, down to F, which is not so good. And then if you're not even on the radar in the top 100 exchanges, then you don't even want to be there, okay? You don't want to be subjecting yourself to that sort of risk. It's hard enough in cryptocurrency markets, guys and girls, to make money, particularly when the market's down. Also, as you know, as Brad Garlinghouse believes, and I believe the same thing, there's well over 3,000 odd cryptocurrencies. 99% of those are going to be broke in the next 2 years. They don't have real usage cases, right? A lot of the cryptocurrencies are there, there's no problem, and they don't even have a solution, right? So it's hard enough to make money in the environment where cryptocurrency goes down, but also coins and tokens are going to be bust because they don't have real usage, right? Let alone being on an exchange that, you know, is a very weak exchange at that. It doesn't even look or smell like an exchange. It doesn't operate like a proper bona fide exchange. Doesn't have insurance. It doesn't do proper execution. Doesn't have trading volume. And it's falsifying all its records. That's hard enough as it is. You've got a lot of key risks that you're taking on that you don't need to take on, okay? And that's why I'm outlining this in this report, which is a very good one. So please do look at it. Oh, by the way, while you're at it, if you haven't, I'm doing a bit of marketing on my YouTube. Please press the subscribe button. I do a lot of really interesting YouTubes. I try to be as unbiased as possible because I don't get paid like other YouTubers do. I don't get paid fees from anyone. And I try to tell you the truth as from all my research. I always back up what I say, always. I don't just make, these great statements and I don't go, yo, how are you going and all this crap. I basically try to, back up everything I say. And a lot of people out there, as far as I'm concerned, really do talk garbology, absolute garbology. They don't back it up with any sound evidence of anything. And often they are getting paid by by exchanges, by token or coin issuers that want to review, that they want them or me to review the coins, and I don't do that. I don't get paid by anyone, and so I don't review things. And I review them for my clients, but I don't get paid by coin issuers or exchanges to tell you lies. So please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button on the video, and I really appreciate that. But I will always tell you the truth because I'm not, honestly, I want to be able to always look people in the eye. I believe in honesty absolutely at the front of everything. I believe in people first, over and above money, and that's a fact, okay? Everyone that knows me in my life, they know I'm straight down the line, and I tell the truth. I will never purge myself, over money. Probably because I'm just an honest person, and that's just the way it is. And I don't make a lot of money, and the reality is I will tell you the truth, absolutely. And I have seen a lot of garbology out there. So if you look at their methodology, of overview of their data collection, and they did it over these time periods, and they looked at Transparency International reports, LinkedIn profiles, which is very important. Who are behind the exchanges? What's their background? Who are they? What experience do they have? What skill sets do they have? It's like YouTubers. You should be looking at their background on LinkedIn. What experience do they have in financial markets? Where have they been? Are they economists? Are they financial market people? Have they been around for a long time in financial markets? Or are they just reading you news stories, right? Anyone can read a news story. But I like to bring something to you guys that make you think about things and question things and, do your due diligence so you actually don't lose any money, right? A lot of people out there don't actually care whether you lose money or not. The YouTubers out there. I do. I don't want you to lose money because you're being told a lie by the people that stand to gain. It's not ethical and it's not right. And that's why I do it, okay? That's why I do it. For nothing more than that, because I actually care. Even if you're a stranger to me, I actually care because I don't want you losing money. And if you don't believe me, that's your problem. You've got a funny view of things because seriously, people should know the truth, not lose money, okay? Now, you know, I have subscription to LinkedIn. You know, I pay $39 a month. I have a subscription to Crunchbase, which again tells me who these people are, where they're from, and what, you know, whether they've been up for, you know, fraud in the past. And some people on exchanges have been up for fraud in the past. You know, check it out. They have been. If you've got subscriptions to all these, you know, Crunchbase thinks about $300 US a year, which I pay for. LinkedIn's $39 Aussie a month. You know, some of these people on exchanges have been up for fraud. Okay, and you need to know that. Now, what do the exchange websites look like? You know, if they're using, you know, internet site and then they're selling their website name, you've got to be questioning these things. What's their API documentation like? What's their GitHub like? You know, company houses, you know, what's the media? What's the story there? You know, what's their registries like? Where are they registered? You know, they did a lot of collection of manual data, right? Again, they look at, you know, the APIs, they look at the exchange itself, you know, again, they can tell with the APIs how an exchange is set up. You know, they look at all sorts of things, right? And they looked at different currency pairs. And then they looked at also the legal regulation, the data provision, security, the team on the exchange. You know, you can't, even if the exchange is run in the cloud, you've got to have a team of settlement officers, middle management officers, you know, to settle things if there's problems, you know, with your coins or tokens, or you don't get your money or something. But if they don't have middle office or settlements people or anything else, you've got to be suspicious. The exchange can't run on its own, right? Cannot run on its own. You know, what's the investment? Who's the investment? You know, trade monitoring, market quality, are there negative reports out there about the exchange? You know, look at, you know, Bitcoin Talk, look at Reddit. You know, people are saying they can't get their coins or something's going on and they've lost their coins, or, you know, they've tried to send emails to the exchange, something as astray, and you look into it. Do your due diligence, man or girl. You don't want to lose your money because the exchange is not bona fide. Okay, so they looked at formal certificates, SSL ratings, use of cold wallets, percentage of funds in wallets, geographical distribution of keys. They have 2FA, custody provider. Number of hacks is a big one. You know, if an exchange has been hacked within a year, you know for sure that it doesn't have proper security, right? Something's wrong, man. Something is wrong. And there are exchanges that have been hacked, you know, which means hackers can get into there and get access to the coins and tokens. You know, and if you put your coins and tokens on exchange, you're running the risk of losing them. Okay, what's their legal name? If an exchange's got a different legal name, right, you've got to be suspicious. Now, I did a report recently where an exchange did have a different legal name, and many different legal names. Again, you know, you try and get your money back if something happens, you can't do it, right? Because it has a different legal name, not dealing with who you think you're dealing with. Where's it registered? Are there strict know your client rules, AML rules, anti-money laundering rules, insurance against loss for fiat and crypto? What's the country rating? If the country's going broke like Venezuela or Zimbabwe, how the hell are you going to get your money out of a company that is actually there, right, in those countries? What's the regulatory risk like? Compliance statements. You know, who's the chief compliance officer and his experience? If they don't have one, a chief compliance officer, means that they don't regard compliance as very important, right? You know, again, funding. There's just so many different methodologies, right? Who's the team? Their education. Where do they come from? Do they have fraud against them? Data provision, trade surveillance, market quality, trade incentives, negative reports, okay? How can they afford to give away airdrops, free coins, no trading fees, whatever it might be, if they are not making any revenue on the exchange? Think about it. They're not making any income. You know, yes, they might be connected with certain people and they have a great interview or whatever, but how can they afford that? Think about it. You know, I don't want you to lose money, and no, I don't get paid by anyone, okay? You know, I don't get paid by anyone. So they had this, you know, these categories: security, which made up 20 points out of 100, legal, investments, management company, data provision, trade surveillance, market quality out of 100. Anything over 75 got double A. Anything between that, A, B. Anything less than 10 was pretty crap, garbology. 10 to 20 garbology, 20 to 35 garbology, 35 to 45 garbology, 45 to 65. Okay, me, I would only deal with 75 and above for me. Okay, if it wasn't on this report, you know that they're absolute garbology. Okay, now what they came up with, which is what I would expect, is Gemini was up there with one of the highest scores. Okay, not surprising. Gemini are in the US. They have they have a license. They also are regulated by the Security Exchange Commission. Okay, they're a custodian. They do a lot with the wholesale traders or the big traders, the institutional traders. They have proper trade monitoring and all sorts of things, and barely any negative reports. Okay, Coinbase I'd expect to be up there as well. Okay, which it was. Okay. Kraken was up there, Bitstamp, A, Polynex, as you can see, Bitfinex, Binance, okay? So basically for me, I do have a Coinbase account. Gemini, you need to, have bigger wads of money, which I don't have. But I have an account with, OKEx, Bitfinance, Binance, all the accounts that I have are all up, double A or A. Yes, I might have some smaller accounts here, but I don't do a lot with them. But I wouldn't go below generally B unless I need the coins and I want to put them on my Ledger NetOS, okay? But seriously, if anything's well below that, you got to be very suspicious, and I wouldn't touch them with with a barge pole. They're absolute garbology, and that's their top ranking, right? So as you can see, everything ranked here to the right-hand side and doing volume, and as a percentage of their benchmark score is where you want to be, up here, okay? Anything below and to the left-hand side, you don't want to be. Now, if it's not on this report, it means the exchange is even worse than what they're saying of all this down here, okay? And why would you want to be there? Why? Why would you want to be there when there are so many risks in terms of the cryptocurrency market, and you're taking on even more risk by being in a crap garbology exchange that could fall over at any time? Okay, I think this is a great report. Have a look at it. It's full of details. Honestly, it's very, very good. If you go further down, it's got it's got who did the report. You can ask them questions, which I like when they've got the team, where they got the information from. It tells you everything. Have a look. You can question them on anything, which I like. It goes through all the information. You can ask them whatever, okay? Because that's how it should be. You should be able to ask people about where they got their information from. You should be able to recreate this report yourself, right? And they go through all the details, okay? All the details. And I do like this report very much. And as I said before, the exchanges that I don't like out there are certainly not on this report. It's just another confirmation as far as I'm concerned. Why would you want to do it? I have no idea, seriously. So just another report there, another YouTube to help all you guys not lose money, and girls and guys. And, I think it's quite a good report. I quite like it, okay? So there is a lot there. Have a look at it. Give them a call. And it goes through a lot of different stuff there. All right, guys and girls, that's enough of me. Hope you're all well. Hope you're looking after yourself, particularly looking after your family, your mum and dad. You're lucky if you've still got them alive. Mine aren't. You're looking after your friends. You're looking after your putty cats, your beautiful animals. You're being kind to animals, being kind to people in the world, generally just to make this a better place. Thanks, guys, and I hope you're all well. Thank you.